And that is why every Friday at this time I enlist the help of movie critic Van Connor to pop on the show just to talk about a couple of the movies he's seen over the last 7 days before they're released, to let us know which ones are, I guess, worth spending our hard-earned pennies on. Welcome back to the show, Van.
Good to be back, Mr. Ball. How you doing?
All good this end. The sun is shining and the weekend is around the corner and there are brand new movies for us to choose from. Now, I'm sort of hoping...
Take you away from, take you away from that sunshine. Well, I've got some Japanese, like, sci-fi horror, I think, and then, of course, the biggest biopic ever, effectively, to talk about. So let's start with Exit 8, because this is one for a really niche fan base. This is for people who like things like Alice in Borderland, or maybe Squid Game to a degree. It is a subtitled horror movie based on a video game of the same name, Exit 8 it's called. It's about a man who finds himself lost in a Japanese subway station, and every time he turns the corner to try and find Exit 8, he finds himself back at Exit 5, and then he turns back, and instead of Exit 4 it's Exit 7, and he must solve the mystery of how to get out of this otherworldly subway station. No clip, obviously, because it'd be very niche portion of our audience that would be able to understand that one, I would imagine. But
it sounds like a fever dream to me, Van, not being able to get out of somewhere.
Yeah, it has a delirium-like quality to it. Like, it really has that sort of mind-bending. Actually, I would pitch this to people who like Severance.
Okay.
If you're into Severance and you like the kind of twisty-turnies, the literal physical manifested twisty-turniness of Severance, then definitely check this out.
Right, well, it's called Exit 8, and it's showing right now at the Oxford Cinema and Cafe and the Light in Banbury if you do want to go and see it. The next one is going to be showing pretty much everywhere you look, because as far as biopics go, this has to be one of the biggest ever released, Van, right? It's called Michael. I don't need to say more.
You don't, do you? I mean, this has got to be the most... Michael Jackson is the most anticipated person ever to have a biopic, right? Presumably, if you asked anyone about who do you want to see a biopic about, I think pretty much everyone would be like, I really want to see the Michael Jackson one. That would be... that I just got to know. And then you get this, which is the officially sanctioned one from the Jackson estate. That's from the producer of Bohemian Rhapsody. And you kind of know what you're in for on that basis alone. This is the very sanitized version of the Michael story that very much takes a sort of Netflixy approach of just chronicling as a linear series of events just the first, I think, 20 years, sorry, not the first 20 years, from the age between 10 and 30 of Michael Jackson's life. So when he's in the Jackson 5 to when he releases, I think it's the Bad album in 1987, he gets the performance in Wembley in 1988. That's sort of the big crescendo of this one. Michael is played for the screen by Jafar Jackson, Michael's nephew, son of Jermaine.
Yeah.
And patriarch, sort of evil... abusive patriarch Joe Jackson is played by Coleman Domingo, both of whom are under heaps of prosthetics. Have a listen anyway. This is Michael.
Ready whenever you are, Michael.
Do you know what I'm after? You want to be the biggest star in the world?
We need to capitalize on Michael's success because the Jackson family is the brand. That's our Coca-Cola. And we need to start selling. So I'm planning an international tour. This is just the beginning.
I need to think.
I told you what to think.
I mean, just pressing play then when you introed that clip made the hairs stand up on the back of my neck and on my arms, and I'm so hopeful that this is as good a movie as most people think it's going to be.
Right, this thing is going to make $1 billion. I genuinely believe this is going to make $1 billion. And because, I mean, I've seen the reaction of people already in the 2 days that this has actually been out. This came out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And obviously there are as many Michael Jackson fans in the world as there ever have been, it seems, and that only seems to actually increase. They now have more of an online presence as well, and they don't care about the quality of it. They're just there for the Michael of it, and that's very much telling in the depiction that they're being sold, because it's very much Michael the showman, Michael the character. There's no interiority to it whatsoever. You never get a portrait of what Michael is like as a person, like what's going on in his head or anything. It's literally just, and then he goes and does this, and then this happens, and then he does this. But it's all done around these really over the top, really well done recreations of like the stage performances and the music videos. And you sit there and think, yeah, but this is what everyone's here for. So although I think the film as an actual film is rubbish, I know nobody's here for this to be an actually good film. They're just here for the Michael of it. Which, fair enough, it does that job. You know, I will say that. And the performances are good, even though they are under really distractingly cartoonish makeup effects. It also has no directorial source outside of those recreations. Like, it's from Antoine Fuqua, who made Training Day. And he comes from a music video background. Like, he did the Gangster's Paradise video in, like, 95 with Coolio. Remember how good that looked? How stylish that was? Yeah, none of that source here. It's really strange. You're like, really? This is Antoine Fuqua directing? But again, he's got the stage recreations and the music videos all right, so it doesn't matter. I think it works for families who want to be kind of sold this sanitized kind of toothless version of this story, but you know, and outside of that, it holds no critical weight. So I can't really dunk on it harder than that.
So basically, if you, like me, always grew up listening to Michael Jackson, like a bit of a fan of his growing up, if you just want to kind of rewatch some of that and just kind of indulge yourself with some of his great music and whatnot, then it's good. But if you're looking to find out more about the man himself, it's not really going to tick the box.
Do you know the only thing I can compare it to is, because we waited so long to see this story, I can only compare it to when Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man movie came out in 2002, because that was a character we'd never seen in a movie, but we all knew the iconography, we knew the persona, kind of thing. And then you get the movie, and in Spider-Man's case, you're like, oh wow, this actually has depth. This has actually been done really well. There's character to this and genuine depth. There's none of that with Michael. And it's very strange because ironically, Michael tried to be Spider-Man at one point, like famously tried to buy Marvel so that he could be in a Spider-Man movie.
Really?
Is a thing that actually happened. But yeah, there's nothing going on underneath the surface. It's got there's no need to explore it has no desire to explore anything beyond a preconceived, like very honed in on narrative about the most important thing about Michael Jackson's life was his relationship with his abusive father, and nothing else.
Right.
Like it really has, there's no subplots, there's nothing like that. There's little bits of the character of Michael Jackson, like why did his skin go that color? What's with the nose? Things like that are literally single scenes that just happen for no reason, kind of a thing. I think there's a brief setup where his father makes a comment that leads to the nose scene, but other than that, there's no depth. There's no actual setup for any of this. But again, no one's there for that.
Yeah.
So,
no, people are going to go along. They just want to see a bit of, you know, Michael Jackson on video with a bit of music and leave feeling happy, I guess. And that's what it's gonna do.
And I danced to Beat It in my seat, and I was, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and I was all the hits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything up to obviously I think 1988, so everything up to the Bad album. There's a great bit where they recreate the Thriller video, by the way. But I do think this actually works as a sort, because it's a 12A rated film.
Yeah.
And outside of Joe Jackson abusing his son, like with a belt, there's nothing really, I think, that's that horrifying for young children or anything like that. I think you just go along with it for a good time.
Well, if you want to check it out, I think it's going to be on a lot of people's list this weekend. You can see Michael at the Oxford Cinema and Cafe, Curzon and View in Oxford, Cineworld in Witney and Didcot, View in Bicester, the Living Room in Chippy, Regal Picture House in Henley, and the Light in Banbury. So I was right; it is in every cinema in Oxfordshire this weekend.
It is, isn't it? Is it on every 15 minutes in like the next?
Yeah, probably like buses, Van, like buses.
Yeah, it will be. Do you know what? This thing will make $1 billion. I'm telling you.
Yeah, watch this space. Probably by next week as well. What have we got to look forward to, by the way, to review next week? What's coming out?
Miranda Priestley is back next week. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is out next week. And I think it's Hugh Jackman in The Sheep Detectives, which just looks like the most insane movie. I was telling you about this. I don't know if I said the trailer because it looks bonkers. I can't wait.
Well, we'll see what Van thinks of those two on the show Friday next week at the same time. Thank you very much, Van. Have a lovely weekend, all right?
Till next time, good time.
Right, it's 11:16 on BBC Radio Oxford with Marvin Gaye, and Mind the Gap is next.